We have got 215 yards.
She was only meant to watch the cat.
The ball comes up a couple yards short.
Kind of you catch under them platforms, so.
The truth about Jimmy Bullard's painful golfing disaster is not what most people think. On a tense day at Rochester and Cobham Park, one single round stood between Bullard and his dream of reaching the Open Championship. The Open is golf's oldest and most famous tournament, and only a small slice of a huge qualifying field ever makes it through. Bullard's day started badly. He made a double bogey on the very first hole, meaning he took 2 extra shots more than the target score. Then he made another double bogey at the tricky par 3 8th hole. By the turn, after 9 holes, he had shot a rough 44 shots over par. His Open dream looked like it was slipping away fast, and the pressure of the moment was written all over his scorecard. If you enjoy stories about players who refuse to quit, use the hype feature and give this video some hype, because Bullard's real battle turned out to be much bigger than one bad score on one hard morning. He did not fold. On the back 9, Bullard fought back hard. He made 3 birdies, which are scores 1 shot better than par, and he added 2 more bogeys, which are scores 1 shot worse than par. He finished with a round of 74, 3 shots over par. It was not enough. He missed the mark needed to move forward by 4 strokes, and another chapter in golf's biggest test ended in disappointment. Call that a disaster, and you would not be wrong to feel that word fits. But the score alone does not show how good Bullard really became, what his body had already survived, or why some of the most respected golfers in the world still believed in him. This was never simply a story about a man who could not play golf. It was a story about pain, pressure, and a long fight that started years before he ever picked up a golf club at all. To understand Jimmy Bullard, you have to go back to football. For years, he was one of the Premier League's most lively and popular midfielders. Fans loved his energy, his personality, and the way he seemed to enjoy every match. That fame never really faded, even after his football career ended, and it followed him straight into golf. When a famous former footballer says he wants to become a professional golfer, people do not judge him like an ordinary beginner learning a new hobby. They expect fast, easy success, almost like flipping a switch from one sport to another. Bullard officially turned professional in golf in April 2013. He wanted back the things football had once given him every single week: real competition, clear purpose, and a tough daily structure to build his life around. Instead, he set his sights firmly on the PGA Europro Tour. Think of this tour as a proving ground, a place where golfers try to show they are good enough to climb up to bigger, richer tournaments. It sits below the very top level of the sport, but it is still filled with skilled, hungry players chasing the same dream. Here is where the real gap in expectations begins. Being a scratch golfer, someone who can play a full round at the same level as the course itself, sounds incredibly good, and it is. A scratch golfer is better than almost every weekend player at any golf club in the country. But touring professionals often shoot several shots under that same level again and again, for 4 straight rounds, with pressure and prize money riding on every single putt. Jimmy Bullard was not a bad golfer stepping into this world. Far from it. He was a talented one stepping into a level where nearly every single opponent was outstanding. His football fame made that gap look smaller than it truly was, and it made his early struggles look far more shocking to the public than they really were for a newcomer to tour golf. There was another problem hiding underneath all of this, one that had nothing to do with skill at all. Bullard was not walking onto the golf course with a fresh, healthy body. He was carrying real, lasting damage from a football career that had already broken him down piece by piece long before his first golf tournament ever began. In September 2006, while playing for Fulham against Newcastle United, Bullard suffered a horrific injury. His knee dislocated, and 3 of the 4 major ligaments holding it together were torn apart in one moment. His surgeon, a leading knee specialist named Richard Stedman, said the damage inside the joint looked like a bomb had gone off. That description alone tells you how serious this injury truly was. What followed was 16 long months of rehabilitation. Slowly rebuilding a shattered knee takes patience. Most people never have to test. During that painful stretch, golf and fishing became something more than hobbies for Bullard. They gave him a quiet escape from the fear and frustration of not knowing if he would ever play football at the top level again. At this point, golf was simply a place to heal his mind, not yet a career. He did return to football, but his body was never quite the same. In January 2009, Hull City paid £5 million to sign him. On his very debut for the club, he suffered another serious knee injury. He needed a full reconstruction of his anterior cruciate ligament, done all the way across in the United States. After that, his knee was considered too fragile to insure it all. Near the end of his football career, Bullard said he felt like a fragile glass ornament out on the pitch, one hard knock away from breaking again. He finally retired at Milton Keynes Dons in October 2012. This history matters for golf far more than people realize. A golf swing looks calm and slow from the outside, but it actually demands fast hip turns, a big weight shift, and a strong twisting motion through the spine. With his knees already damaged, Bullard's body likely had to find other ways to create power and speed in his swing. Research into his movement suggests that his body shifted much of that stress upward, putting extra strain onto his lower back instead. That extra strain showed up at the worst possible moment. While preparing for the 152nd Open Championship at Royal Troon, Bullard planned to compete through regional qualifying at Rochester and Cobham Park. A severe back problem forced him to withdraw before he even hit a competitive shot. For weeks afterward, he could not swing a golf club normally at all. Golf had never been a safe, gentle escape from football's damage. It gave Bullard a brand new goal to chase, but his battered body followed him into every part of that goal, refusing to simply disappear because he had changed sports. And still, the same man who had already spent years rebuilding his own body kept walking back onto the course, into events where every single weakness would be tested in public view. Bullard's professional debut came at the Asbury Hall Classic in May 2013. Conditions were wet, cold, and difficult that week. He shot a 78, 8 shots over par, and tied for 136th place out of 167 players. He missed the cut, which simply means his score was not good enough to keep playing into the later rounds of the event. Football had prepared him for speed and instinct, not for this. A football match lasts around 90 minutes, full of quick decisions and constant motion. A single round of tournament golf can stretch past 5 hours, filled with long walks and quiet stretches between shots. Bullard found this slow, grinding pace mentally exhausting in a way that surprised him, often harder to handle than the physical side of the game itself. He then attempted to qualify for a full EuroPro Tour card through Q School. At the local qualifying stage, played at Stoke by Nayland in difficult, snowy conditions, he shot 75 and 76 and advanced through to the final stage. At the final stage, held on the red course at Frilford Heath, he shot 77 and finished tied for 142nd place. He failed to earn a tour card, which is the document that gives a golfer the right to enter a fuller, richer schedule of tournaments each year. Between 2014 and 2016, Bullard made 5 official starts on the EuroPro Tour. His strongest recorded result came at Chart Hills, where rounds of 76 and 72 earned him a tie for 22nd place, his career best tour finish. Beyond that one bright spot, the wider pattern was missed cuts and high numbers on the scorecard. Across his entire official EuroPro Tour career, Bullard earned exactly £0 in prize money. This is the exact spot where the harsh word disaster feels justified. A former Premier League player had turned professional in a brand new sport, yet walked away with no tour winnings and no true breakthrough to show for it. There is no need to mock him for that. Instead, understand what it really meant, because people already knew his name from football. His results became public property in a way an unknown rookie's results never would. A quieter player with the exact same scores might have faded away without a single headline. This stretch of Bullard's career reveals something important about golf itself. Hitting a beautiful individual shot is one thing, and Bullard could clearly do that. Repeating good decisions and solid scores across many holes, many rounds, and many days, with every single mistake counted against him, is an entirely different and much harder challenge. Through all of it, one goal kept pulling Bullard back, reaching the Open Championship itself, the tournament that mattered more to him than almost any other prize in golf. The Open matters because it welcomes more than just full-time touring professionals. Any golfer holding a scratch handicap or better, amateur or pro, can attempt to qualify, which is exactly why Bullard kept returning to try again and again. His attempts became one of the defining threads of his whole golf story. Watched closely by fans who remembered him from his football days. Earlier, a serious back injury had already forced him to withdraw from one Open qualifying attempt before it even started. A painful reminder of how fragile his body remained. Now return to that tense round at Rochester and Cobham Park, the one that opened this story. The field held roughly 2,000 hopeful players, all chasing a very small number of places in the next stage. Bullard opened with a double bogey on the first hole. He added a second double bogey at the difficult par 3/8. He turned in 40, 4 shots over par, a brutal start under enormous pressure. Then on the back nine, something shifted. He carded 3 birdies against 2 bogeys, clawing back shot after shot in front of everyone watching. He finished with a recorded round of 74, 3 shots over par, missing the mark by 4 strokes. A small number of other records list the round as 72, but every account agrees on one simple fact. He did not qualify that day. The exact number matters less than the story behind it. One rough start on the front nine left him almost no room for error for the rest of the round. To put the challenge into perspective, YouTube golfer Peter Finch progressed that same day with a score of 71 at Caldy, while former footballer Peter Odemwingie shot an 84 at Enville and also missed out. Even gifted single-figure players can fall short on any given day, because open qualifying leaves almost no margin for mistakes. The front nine of that round showed how fast a lifelong dream can slip away. The back nine showed that Bullard never once stopped fighting for it. On paper, it was one more failure to add to the pile. But look closer, and it becomes the first clear signal that the word disaster never told the whole truth about his golf game. Because here's the part the scorecards alone cannot capture. Some of the most respected players in the sport genuinely rate Jimmy Bullard's golf ability. Former world #1 Lee Westwood and Ryder Cup legend Colin Montgomery have both openly praised his swing and his ball striking. What they saw was simple. A player who hits the ball with real power and clean, professional-grade contact, shot after shot. Then comes the strongest piece of evidence in this entire story. The Costa Navarino Legends Tour trophy in Greece. Bullard played there as an invited amateur guest, competing from the same professional tees, under the exact same tournament conditions as the pros around him. He shot rounds of 71, 68, and 72. That added up to 5 shots under par for the whole event. He tied for 14th place on the unofficial leaderboard, matching the score of former US Open champion Michael Campbell, and finishing ahead of established European Tour winners like Paul Lawrie and David Drysdale. Why does this performance matter so much? One great shot can be luck. One great round can come from a hot putter and a friendly course. 3 strong rounds, played under real tournament pressure against genuine champions, are much harder to explain away as luck. A player without real skill simply does not shoot scores like that on a hard course, no matter how friendly the company around him feels. This does not erase his rough Europro years. It proves that story was always more complicated than a simple lack of talent. His game may not have been consistent enough or his body healthy enough to build a normal full-time tour career against younger professionals chasing the exact same dream. But he could clearly still play elite-level golf when the setting and the pressure suited him. Westwood and Montgomery were impressed enough to encourage him to consider turning professional again once he reaches 50, aiming for senior golf on the Legends Tour, Europe's top senior circuit. Nobody promised he would succeed there. Respected players simply believed his game could genuinely fit that stage. There is one more detail that shows how strange and humbling golf scoring can be. Early in his amateur days, England Golf once tracked his handicap at 22 after a run of difficult rounds, a number that suggested an average weekend player at best. Later, his real demonstrated ability sat close to scratch or better among the very best amateurs anywhere. Formal scoring can humble even a gifted player before it ever reveals the truth about them. Put simply, Bullard's results changed depending on where he played. He struggled badly while trying to force his way up a crowded competitive tour ladder. He looked genuinely brilliant when the setting matched his talent instead. That contrast asks a fair question. What should success in a second sporting career actually look like? For Bullard, the answer arrived somewhere else entirely, on camera, not just on the course. Alongside Peter Tubesdale and Andrew Angedale, he became a central presenter on the Golf Life YouTube channel, a show that made his entire golf journey visible to a huge online audience of hundreds of thousands of subscribers. The show worked because Bullard never pretended to be a flawless golfer who never made mistakes. Viewers saw the bad rounds alongside the good shots, the physical struggles alongside real emotional reactions, and honest competitive matches instead of a polished, edited highlight reel. The channel featured matches and challenges against figures like hockey star Sam Ward, former football teammate Sean Davis, cricketer Laurie Evans, trick shot creator Mac Boucher, and professional golfer Zane Scotland. Through all of it, Bullard found a space that sat somewhere between serious competitive golf and genuine entertainment. A space where his setbacks became part of the appeal, instead of something to hide from an audience. So here's the honest, full picture behind that painful title. Jimmy Bullard's golf career really was painful. It held real injuries, missed cuts, no official Europro prize money, failed qualifying attempts, and plenty of public disappointment along the way. All of it visible for everyone to see, but it was never a complete disaster. He became a genuinely skilled golfer, earned real praise from major professional figures, produced a 5-under par tournament performance against actual champions, and built a successful, lasting role in golf media that continues to grow. Jimmy Bullard did not conquer professional golf outright, but golf gave him something just as important: a whole new place to compete, entertain, and prove that one broken dream never truly had to be the end of his story.